Young girl, don't cry. You're not alone in the fight. The broken, the unspoken. We can't heal if the wound is open. If it's like you were here to see your heart is bleeding. You cry and knowing you are. When the lonely pain in life I get to see. To gain for their own benefit. Be strong. Be brave. You're too far away from the grave. Stand tall. We are here. We don't know the spirit of fear. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. Liberia, when will we stop being the inferior? Our children, strength of their innocence. It feels like no one here to see your heart is bleeding. You cry and ignored when you are ill. When the wrong, the pain and lies I kept to see to gain for their own benefit. Be strong, be brave. You're too far away from the grave. Stand tall. We are here. We don't know the spirit of fear. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. Liberia, we can't give when they have turned their backs on us. Liberia, we can't give Liberia, we can't say a little louder. Turn their backs on us. Young girls, don't cry. You're not alone in the fight.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Today is October the 13th, 2021. This morning, I gotta laugh because I just left watching CNN. I was watching Congressman Adam Schiff talking about the January 6th commission that is going on right now to investigate what happened on January 6, 2021 at the Capitol of the United States of America. And he was talking about the subpoena that had been issued to Steve Bannon and a few other people who refused to show up before Congress to testify, claiming executive privilege. So he was telling them that if they don't show up and respond to the subpoena, they will start going after them for contempt and different things, trying to file charges against them. So while he was talking, I was laughing. I said, I know Donald Trump is thinking, oh yeah, go Shifty Chef again. Yeah, go Shifty Chef again. He's starting this thing over again. I'm just laughing. You know, this thing never ends, man. It has to end. It has to end. And we got to find out what happened on January 6th. So these guys got to testify. They got to testify. People can't try to overthrow the government and get away with it. People are supposed to be in jail right now. People are supposed to be in jail right now. But we're watching. We're watching. I also want to say bon voyage to Captain Kirk as he travels this morning to outer space. I keep saying Captain Kirk, Captain Kelly. I can't even think of the man's real name. What's his name? James Kirk. Well, anyway, let's call him Kirk, Captain Kirk. So he's leaving this morning to go for a few minutes out of space and come back. You all know what I'm talking about. What is Captain Kirk? William Shatner. Oh, gosh. We call him man Captain Kirk so much, we forget his real name. William Shatner. So I saw him this morning all smiling on CNN, getting ready to take his voyage mission, even though he be on the USS Enterprise from the time we're children. He just going to space for the first time. So this is ironic for life. So bon voyage, Captain Kirk. And Siv, we hope to see you back here soon. Okay, now the USA permitting people from Canada and Mexico who are already vaccinated to come back across the border. This will start next month, November. For people in that area or people who in our communities, African communities that traveled in that area around Canada and Mexico, crossing the border. Right now, there's an embargo on traveling, especially for businesses and all those kind of things. So now that most people are getting vaccinated, the U.S. is going to lift restriction on it next month. So all those people in that area that need to travel across the border from Canada and Mexico into the United States can start checking the immigration and the different authorities up there to find out if they can cross and when they want to cross. Okay? So those are the basic things in the world news. On the other side of things, we get into my lesson this morning. Let's look at my topics. 1, massive cleanup campaign from Monrovia. 2, economic development of Liberia. and 3, the Patriot. Now, we know that Friday on the 15th, 2 days from now, Joseph Boyka will assume the leadership of the collaborating political party. I always thought it was coalition. I always been calling it coalition. What's the difference? There's a difference. I was looking it up. There's a difference between coalition and collaborating. Collaborating, they're just working together. Coalition, they have formed a group, a temporary group, or some temporary organization for a specific purpose. So the collaborating party, they're just working together. When you collaborate, you just work together. So there is no union or real connecting nexus between these parties. They're working together. So I don't know what the extent of the collaboration is. So there is no real binding or accounting of their relationship with each other. All they do is working with each other. I thought they were more of a group coalition. So when I saw collaborating party, I said collaborating party. I thought they were coalition. So I had to go to the dictionary and really identify the difference between collaboration and coalition. They're almost the same thing, but there's a difference. Okay, one is more of a binding obligation, has a more binding obligation, and another, there's no accountability to the other parties. They're just working together. And this is where the problem is. Emerge with Benani Uri and Ellie Cummings. I told you this is a personality issue. It's a personality issue because Benani has problem with Cummings, and Cummings have problem with Benani on idealistic issues, principle issues, different issues that relate to their personal idiosyncrasies, behaviors, and traits, whatever it may lead to. But there's a problem between them on the personal level with the personalities. So I got a problem likewise too with Ella Cummings. We know better now you got a problem too, but I got a problem with Ella Cummings too. Because I've stated it time and time again. Fair is fair. Fair is fair. You won't call people corrupt? Start with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. When you put your children in our government and the stealing and money getting missing, like at our oil company, when Robert Sirleaf messed that shit up, instead of holding the man guilty and making him get our money back, she said she take responsibility for it. We don't want you to take responsibility for it, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We want our damn money back. When you put people in charge, especially your family member, this is where the criminality emerges. Because people are not supposed to take our money and just mess it up like that. We are a poor country. People got to account. People got to count. We always pointing to America. What about China? In China, they execute people for mismanagement, for corruption, like Robert said he did. We always pointing to America, for example. Let's point to China too now, where they execute these people for incompetence, corruption, waste. You can't take our property for the people and just behave with it like that. Then your mom said she would take responsibility for it, and we out of $10 million, and nobody putting it back in our coffers, and you say you take, give me my damn money. You want to take responsibility? Give me my damn money. You can't say you take responsibility for your son's stealing and incompetence, and you will lead Liberian people with our money, and you tell us you take responsibility for it, then pay us our damn money. We are not Samoka. We are not stupid as Samoka. We are not stupid like Brownie Samoka. We are the Republic of Liberia. When you put your children in power and they screw up, you pay us back every damn penny that we have lost. Because you didn't pick Liberians, you pick your children. When you pick your children to lead our government, they are not Liberians. They become personal to you. Because when you are our leader and you controlling 4 million or 5 million people, you are there to promote fairness, justice, accountability, and honor our laws and system of public policy. Nepotism is abhorred. Why? Because of your children. And for the very reason, an example of Robert Salif's ineptitude at our oil company, and you forgave him. It's the very reason why such public policies are put in place, are abhorred. Because it's wrong. It may not be in our criminal code specifically stating of nepotism. But we know nepotism has a negative connotation when it comes to politics, government, and leadership. And it's bad governmental practice. It creates unrest, instability in the country. And for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to do what she did to Liberia, and Ellen come and sit there and then say a damn word about her never. Right there, the woman destroy our country, man. Right there, to put her 3 children in our government, Ellen Johnson's intention was to destroy our country. There is no way she could have meant well for Liberia. Because there is no way she could ensure or assure any check and balance on her children's behavior or behaviors while serving in our government. Look at what Charles Sirleaf and Milton Wilson did at the central bank. Printed their own damn money. Look at what Robert Sirleaf did our oil company. Depleted and wasted our money, and we can't get it back. Look at what Fuma did at our national security. He was extorting foreigners for money. And this is why nepotism is bad. And this is why they killed my father in 1980. And we accepted it. I accepted it. I bore the consequences. I swallowed it. But to come and see Liberian people sit down and see Ellen Johnson Sirleaf do the same shit we killed 13 people for in 1980 and destroy our first republic for, and y'all think God will bless us in this era? When we kill those people because of God and because of humanity and because of right and wrong, and we'll come and see this woman do the same worse than Totman anybody ever did. Worse. And that is where we are today. And Elliot come and sat down and he didn't say a word. Not after that old wicked woman, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf gone. He won't tell us that George, we are corrupt. You see where I'm coming from? You said your little short monkey. I don't even want to use no invectives. But you said right there, you see the woman children stealing, you participated with them, associated and affiliated with them. Now they're all gone. The little native boy there from the slum who don't know nothing. Now you feel empowered to call him corrupt. And all the other people agree with it. This is why I disagree with you. This is where I step back and I say, no, I don't agree with that. This woman has a Harvard degree. This woman is at a level that George Weah will never reach in this lifetime. She screwed our damn country up and gave it to a little dummy. And we must blame the dummy for this Harvard graduate woman failures. It can't happen. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not just. It's not just. Even to George Weah. And George Weah doesn't even know that. He's so greedy and ignorant and blind and from the slum. He doesn't know it. But it's not fair to him. It's not fair to him. Now he will go down in history as a little slum criminal footballer. With all his popularity, he's a failure. And he doesn't even know it. And history will judge him. It may be fair with him a little bit because he's ignorant. But when you got doctor, and all these things, piling all these degrees on you, trying to be like Eden Johnson Sirleaf, and you're not, history will judge you for where you want to be. So in the future, we have to tear George Weah, we have to tear all our leaders apart, especially from Tottenham to this era. Because this is Liberia we know. This is Liberia of confusion. This is Liberia of commotion. This is Liberia of change. Change. This is the real change we're in now. We are the real Liberia. All the past Liberia didn't matter. From Tottenham to where we are today, it's the real Liberia. And we got to decide whether we're going to fix our Liberia or we're going to mess up our Liberia. Because from before Tottenham, Liberia was blind. Only a few percentage of Liberia was alive. From Tottenham to now, many Liberian people have been to America, in the diaspora, all over the world. Our eyes are open to a certain degree, not in education, but in societal living. Our eyes are open. We've been to the West, we've been to the East, we've been to everywhere. So we need to come back home now. That's why our country is in the diaspora right now. The majority of educated Liberia is in the diaspora. The people home are the people home from the war that have fought the war and they couldn't go nowhere. So the confusion, the commotion, the mess, the murder, everything still festering in our country. Because the masses of Liberian people in the diaspora, all over the world, in the world diaspora. So until we come home, even in Africa, look at our people in Ghana and other people. Many of those people in Ghana and other places more sophisticated than our people in Liberia right now. Because Ghana is where everybody going for treatment. Everybody going for health. So the people in Ghana, Liberians living in Budubuwa, more sophisticated than Liberians in Liberia right now. Because Ghana is more sophisticated than Liberia. So that's how it works. And until our people come back home with a mission and a goal and understanding our plight in the diaspora and appreciating it. Not just living here to be living here, but understanding why God sent us in the diaspora. We are here for a purpose, and we have to appreciate our plight And the same thing they were talking on across Africa this morning. I was listening to Lofa Jr. The same thing we were talking on your Cindy show this morning, Second Thoughts. She had a guest there, Yankwe or something. They were talking about the same thing. They were talking about the same thing. How we can develop Liberia. How we can develop Liberia. The impact of diaspora Liberians on Liberia. We can have a severe impact on Liberia. So let me get into my lesson. I've been talking my introduction too much. And all of this brought to the same thing. The massive cleanup of Liberia, Monrovia. This has to do with waste management. All the sites talking about waste management right now. But this is, when I put on my thing about Joseph Boyka, everybody who saw my card I put up yesterday announcing Joe Boyka's ascendancy to the chairmanship of the CPP, I put that massive cleanup of Monrovia. Joe Boyka had to clean up Monrovia before he became president of Liberia. He can't take over Liberia with a dirty Monrovia. So you see the divinity, how God works in a mysterious way. Everything that happening in our country has a religious connotation. We are a religious people. So everything that happens relates to our divinity in spiritualism. We got to change our country. Right now, the problem between Benani, Ure, and Cummings is immaturity. It's immaturity. That's why I'm looking to a different era on Boca take over on Friday. I hope Benani, Ure, and Costa and all the immature nonsense will not be the obstacle to change in Liberia. Will not be the obstacle to the continued stagnation of our society. Because the cleanliness of Liberia and Monrovia depends on the leadership of Joseph Boyka. It depends on the leadership of Joseph Boyka. Because whether we accept it or not, the collaborating party of Liberia under Joe Boyka leadership is the waiting presidency of the Republic of Liberia. So when Joe Boyka becomes the head of the CPP on Friday, it's an indication that he's the next president of Liberia. If majority of Liberian people are gravitating towards Joe Boyka's presidency and expressing the desire to have this man be president of Liberia, when he takes over on Friday, it is an in facto presidency of the Republic of Liberia. So that is why I look forward to a change on Friday. Because we're tired with the infighting. We're tired with the immaturity. We're tired with the personality bullshit. We want to see real leadership in my country. I want to see real leadership. And Joe Boyka knows we've been making noise telling him he got to step to the plate. That's why he decided to step to the plate this week. Because the noise were getting too much now. You got to step to the plate, Joe Boca. You got to step to the plate. But now you're electronics, these guys in mature. You got to step to the plate. We want a leader. We want a man that we can look to as a leader. So Friday will be the de facto presidency of Joe Boca. Because when Joe Boca is sent to the CPP head, George Weah is silent. We're looking for a leader. Our country is in dire need of a leader. And that's why I suggest and propose that Joe Boca's first project is for us to clean up our country. Waste management is an issue. We got to study. Cleaning up Monrovia. I've heard different things. I heard Ansu Dualu talking this morning about his plan for $1 million he will put up, and Liberians need to put up $2 million to join him, and he would take all the trash out of Liberia because he wants the trash. And people calling him the poo-poo man, all of that. So there was a great debate this morning on Lofa Julia's show, of whether we need to totally invest in this thing yet. Whether we need to invest in it. I think he had Dr. Duopo on his show too. And they were talking about privatizing waste management. Because our government cannot afford to do this thing. And I will talk about it in my second topic. Because I want to keep the economic aspect out of the trash management. We have to clean up Monrovia because, as I said, when Joe Boca come there, he's the de facto president of Liberia. All the shenanigans in CPP got to stop. We need leadership. We need direction. And there comes a time we got to say enough is enough. CPP ain't going to break up. CPP, once Joe Boca, that was Joe Boca ascending to the leadership this week, because we started crying. You got to take the leadership or go to sleep. Get out of here. Well, we want a leader. We're looking up to you. We can't keep crying and see Benana Yuri and Ellie Cummings doing bullshit with our country, and you sitting down there tolerating this thing under your watch. You got to step to the plate. You're the father of the nation. And we do need a semblance of a father. And when I saw Joe Boca picture in the newspaper say he becoming the head of the CPP on Friday, everything changed in my eyes. I said, yes, he see the need to take charge now. He see the need to end shenanigans, because he doesn't, CPP will be destroyed. And this is where we got to go from here. Cleaning up our country after Friday. Now let's look at how we're going to do this. I told you Dualo wants to privatize trash management in Liberia. If he has the ability to do that, if he has done the research, and as he was talking on with Lofa Julius then, that he's done the research, he has the plan, we need the facility, he'd be willing to put up $1 million. All we need to do is to put up $2 million with him, and there will be a collaboration, and we can move the trash out of Liberia. This is a national interest. It's not for George Weah. It's not for CPP. It's not for ANC. It's for us. And this is a good effort. That's why I told him, I said, everybody say, oh, you poo-poo. He was talking about how they say, oh man, you poo-poo man, what is that? Yes, he poo-poo man. But he got a plan, a viable plan that he has put forth. And if this guy can do this thing, There is no need of us debating it any further. If Dualu has already proposed to the Liberian government that he can put up $1 million, he has done the research. He has a company that can do this. He wants the trash. Why we can't get him the trash? Why do we have to do any further debating about waste management? We got to clean up Liberia, Monrovia. It's a necessity. It's not an if, and, or maybe. It is a necessity. We have a Liberian right now who has the ability and the connections to do it. He was just talking this morning or last night saying that he will put up $1 million. All he needs is $2 million from us. He can clean the trash all over Monrovia. He wants it. He will build a facility, the waste facility. He will take care of everything. This is an opportunity for us to clean up our country. Government got to get involved. There is no way trash management can be successful in Liberia without government involvement. The private people can put in the money. We can put in the money. Dualu can set up his company. Because if the man already got a company, there's no need for us to debate no more. If the man has already proposed the thing to the government of Liberia, he already talked with the people. He said, I want the trash. I can do it. I will put up $1 million. What is $2 million for us to put up? We can put up it. And we need to stop debating these things. We need to stop the jealousy. We need to stop the foolishness. All of these things relate to the health and safety of our country. 8% of our poor people die because of bad shit in our country. Sanitation, dirt, bad hygiene. 8% of our people die. This is according to Dualu. They did the research. He's a sanitation man. That's his area. I'm not in the health field, but in the health field, there are different areas of health. Just like you were telling us, he said trash management is different from sewage management. We're not talking about sewage. We're not talking about the water. Sewage has to do with wastewater, waste, that kind of waste. Trash has to do with garbage, not feces, not urine. All the things that sewage management. So we got to teach our people. In order for us to have a successful campaign, even if Dualu agrees to join us or we agree to join him, vice versa, to do this. And there's a way for us to clean Monrovia because he can't do it by himself. Even if we do a contract with Dualu, there has to be a community initiative to clean up Liberia, Monrovia. All of our people got to join in to clean up Monrovia. The trash is just too much for any one corporation to undertake. So this is a massive, and Dualu are talking about 3-4 years to do it. This is, yes, it may take with a direct extinction in Monrovia. This is not a 1 month or 2 month and 3 month thing. This is a 3-year community effort. We got to clean up our country for 3 years. Monrovia. And while we're cleaning up, I don't want Monrovia to be like Sierra Leone. I see in Sierra Leone, I was in Sierra Leone. They moved the trash from somewhere and they put it in the center of the city in one part and burning it. So all day they got this fire running through the city. And people throwing the trash in it. It never ending fire. We got to find a better way to dispose of trash. We got to find a better way. We got to clean our waters. The waterway down water side, we got to clean all that thing. Make it feasible for tourism, for building in the city. It's not hard. It is not hard. But it has to be a nationwide effort to clean up our country. This is the first step to unification and integration of our people. Bringing our people together to clean up Monrovia. This is a nationwide effort. So even if we look at the possibility of Dualu, this is Ansu Dualu. He is a Liberian who has proposed to take over the trash management of Liberia. He says he has a company and the ability to do it. He says he's willing to put up $1 million. He already told the Liberian government, and nobody has responded to it, that he's willing to put up $1 million of his own cash. And all he needs is $2 million from the government, and he can clean up Monrovia. He can build a waste facility plant. And that would be his job. So what are we waiting for? I think we need to do the government need to set up a committee to do a better study of Dualu's proposal. And if the government can raise the money, raise the money. And if Dualu can form a public corporation and ask for shares from the public and sell shares to the public, that's a good business for Liberian people to buy shares in his company to help him raise the $2 million he needs to start his waste management plan. Then all of us will own it. Everybody who buys shares will have poo-poo shares. Yeah, Dualu says somebody, they always tell him, oh my man, you always got it, you and your poo-poo business big time. So he got their poo-poo shares. He will sell us his poo-poo shares, all our own poo-poo shares. And if it amount to $2 million, he got his money to do the waste management. But we need government interaction because we need security. He may need availability throughout the city. He may need cooperation with the city on certain aspects of his waste management procedure. So all of these, he still needs to work with the government. But we need to clean up Monrovia. So this is a challenge for the CPP. This is a challenge for the Liberian people. Joe Boycott cannot remain president or chairman of CPP with Liberia's capital as dirty as it is. Even though he's not president, Joe Boycott is a representative of a decent Liberia. Joe Boycott is a representative of the real Liberia. Joe Boycott is even more representative of our Liberia today than Ellie Johnson Sirleaf. So this is our opportunity now to come together and change our country. I don't care about anything else right now, but Joe Biden leading us to a new era. As far as I'm concerned, Joe Biden already president as of Friday. CPP forget about convention and all that shit. Electronics, they can forget about running and all that shit. When Joe Biden Friday, he take over. In my eyes, he already won away to be presidency. He's the chairman of the CPP. Because Electronics and Banana, you can't make it. The immaturity got to stop. They have proven that there's a problem right there. I don't even want to talk about convention no more. As soon as Joe Biden get there Friday, convention, everything finished. He already stand a barrel. We're moving toward a new era for Liberia right now. Because it's a necessity. Okay? So that's how I feel about this cleanup business. I feel, let me just break it down in clear and simple language. I feel, one, Joe Biden cannot assume the leadership of the CPP with Monrovia or trash haven. Whether president of Liberia or not, as leader of any entity in Liberian society, Joe Biden cannot sit down in trash. So we got to clean up Monrovia. It's a necessity. It's a necessity. Why? Because cleanliness is next to godliness. And if we must change Monrovia, we must put God first. And we must clean up Monrovia to present it to God. That's the capital of our nation. It is holy. It is a safe haven for our people. And if a good leader of Liberia assumes the leadership of Liberia, they can't do it in dirt. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So that's the first thing. The second thing, we got to clean up our country. Monrovia for us, our capital city. And it's time for us to demonstrate that we are patriots. It's time for us to demonstrate that Monrovia is a holy place to us. It's time for us to demonstrate that our capital city is the bloodline of our nation. And it gotta be kept clean and next to holy. So these are the foundations upon which we as Liberians must rest our patriotism in our nexus to our capital city. Our capital city is the major city of Liberia. If our capital city is nasty, what would you say about the rest of the cities of our country? The time of the Liberian people is now. Aluta, continua. Let me take a break, then we start my second topic. Economic development of Liberia. We hear everybody every day, oh, Liberia, the economy of Liberia, the economy of Liberia. What's the economy of Liberia? What is the economy of Liberia? When we talk about economic development, what we look to first? We look to our natural resources. We look at what our country has as our gift from God to be our inheritance, our iron ore, our diamond, our gold, our bauxite, our human resources. All these things are God's blessing to us. They are our natural inheritance from God. When we form our constitution and say this part of land forms Liberia, because the constitution is everything. The constitution gives us Liberia. If we don't have no constitution, there's no Liberia. Because it's in the constitution that it tells us what our country name is. What gives our country life? Who are Liberians? What makes Liberia Liberia? It forms our government. It tells us who controls our natural resources and empowers our government to develop ministries to control the resources of our country. And that's what, that's why people go to school to learn government. That's why we got to learn civics. Because all those things tell us about us and our country and our wealth and resources. So when we talk about Liberia's economic development, in a few weeks, I want to change my office so I can put my black screen on the wall and get an easel, because we got to get into real teaching here, Because when we talk about economic development encompasses a lot of things. Because there are ramifications, branches to economic development. We talk about tourism. That's a branch of economic development. We talk about agriculture. That's a branch of economic development. We talk about social interaction and development. That's a branch of economic development. We talk about innovations of our people. That's economic development. We talk about the private sector, business. That's economic development. So there are ramifications to economic development. And when we sit to the table, that's why we have economists, people that specialize in looking at the overall fabric of our country. What resources we have available, the demand in our society, and what supplies we garner from the demands and the resources to meet our people's needs. The economy, supply and demand, how you get the supply, how you manipulate the supply, how you study diminishing returns, how you study economic resources, the viability of the country to produce, the human resources of the country, the ability of the people to produce, to generate resources, to control and manage our resource. All those things fall within economic development of our country. So let's look at Liberia economic development. The development of our country has been and is still one-sided. People say, oh yeah, one-sided, yeah. Liberia, America, Liberia. No. I'm not talking about foreign trade aspects. I'm not talking about unilateral and bilateral trade with foreign countries. No, I'm talking about in our domestic settings. In our domestic setting, we have not developed the real vehicle for economic development. And that has made our country one-sided on the local side. Because our society is not only in Liberia. Our society is worldwide, especially in this era of our sustenance and sustainability. Our country is diverse. We have Liberia in the diaspora, and we have Liberia in Liberia. We have Liberia in Africa. So that's Liberia basically. Liberia in Africa, Liberia in the diaspora. Or we can say the African diaspora is also part of the overall diaspora of Liberians. Okay, so we just say Liberians in the diaspora and Liberians at home. So to have two nations of Liberia, we have almost as many Liberians in the diaspora as we have at home. As many. When you look at our offsprings, our posterity, our future, look at America. Look at the Liberians in America. Many of us here will never come to Liberia. Why? Because there's too much we're leaving behind here. Look at me, my grandmother, my mother, everybody buried in this country. Some of our fathers, some people dear to us buried here. Go home is like, we got to come back. We can't just stay there. It's like, so we're so divided now, how are we going to handle this thing? So we have a nation abroad and a nation at home. And the economic development of Liberia rests on these two Liberian nations. It rests on it. Our economic development rests on it because through our economic development, our social development in our country will emerge and will come out of and being an impoverished nation into being a more vital and productive people. But we got to understand the economics of our two nations. And through innovative means, through trustworthy means, we got to form a nexus between our two nations to enable our abilities to flow freely based on our dependence on the rule of law to build Liberia. Because it will form this nexus between our diaspora Liberia and Liberia in Liberia. It will form this nexus. It has to be based on the rule of law. Because from this nexus will emanate the true sense of justice in the Liberian society. Because right now, the people in Liberia feel that they are kings. They can do anything they want to do. They don't have real no accountability. But they do. They have an accountability to Liberian people wherever we are. So our economic situation, just like our political situation, rests on our two societies, our diaspora society and our local society. And we must form the nexus for us to develop effectively. So let's see how our economic viability in these two nations can connect. I told you forever and forever. I've told you from the time, for over 30 years now, I've said the same thing over and over. My tune have not changed, but Liberians have not listened. Liberia, people in Liberia cannot build Liberia with the kind of economic system we have in Liberia. The economic system we have in Liberia is one of dependency. It's one of debt. It's one of destruction, corruption, nepotism. And it will not grow because there's nothing feeding into that economic system to give it life, to give it breath, to break out of that chain of corruption and stagnation. So when you don't have nothing fresh coming into our country to change it, our economic system, just like our country, remains dead. It's dead. And I keep telling you all this kind of thing. And all we're doing in America here is just getting money and sending it to people to waste in Liberia. We're getting money, millions and millions of dollars, and just sending it to people in Liberia to waste. In reality, what we're doing is we're sending raw cash to people in Liberia who take the cash and roll tobacco in it and smoke. That's what we're doing. They're burning our cash. They're smoking it. They're burning it up. Because the way we've been living is not viable economically. And I've been talking this thing for time, more 20, 30 years now. I've been telling you, we have the organizations, we have everything in place to build a new Liberia, but we don't have the people. That's the only thing missing from everything in Liberia. We got the laws, we got the structures, we got everything in place. The only thing that causes Liberia to fail is the people. We don't have the people. We don't have the people. So when you don't have the people, the structure don't mean nothing. The laws don't mean nothing. Look at all the laws we write. Liberia got laws. I'm a lawyer. The laws are in the books, on the books, over the books, under the books, hanging by the books. Want to jump over the books. We got laws, but nobody implements them. So we have nobody. We got all the laws, but nobody. Nobody. Liberian people make laws, but we have nobody to implement them. Everybody does what they want to do. We make the laws that say, "Oh yeah, we know to show we educated. We are showboats. We go to school, Western education, to learn Western education, to come and make big laws and everything. But in reality, we live in a monarchy, or we live under a parental system or something where the elders always control shit, no matter whether you're educated or not. It don't make sense to me. And that's why me and my people that have problems, it don't make sense to me. Because I can't learn book to do something better than I can and do things the way other people want to do it. Everybody just does things the way they want to do it, and they think it right. Look at the framework document of the ANC and CPP. The lawyers finish correcting everything. Somebody go and change all the numbers, everything. Then they say, nothing wrong with it. Something wrong with it. Something is wrong with it. Something is wrong with it. People don't make laws and give it to a lawyer to review. Then when the lawyer finish reviewing it, then other people, numbskulls, sit down and start writing on it and changing numbers and things and say, oh, it equal. Why put I? You can just put 2. If you could just put 2, the lawyers would have done that. That's just some ignorant, stupid, arrogant fool. Sit down, look at the document and say, oh, why they put I? I is 2, so they just put 2. And just erase and put 2. I don't know the people do that. I sat down and seen Liberian people do that thing. And I asked them, I said, why are you changing that thing? Are you a lawyer? Oh, but it's the same thing. It's two is two. No, it's not the same. That's stealing. When the lawyers review something, that's the legal minds. When they finish reviewing it and say it's okay and give it to you to file, you can't sit all the time and look at it and say, oh, look at the left eye. Instead of two, they put let me just change the two eyes, two. They did this. Look at the forgot to cross this T. Maybe I will cross it for them. T. No, you can't do that. You tamper with the document. If you see anything in the document that needs changing, you take it back to the people. I see some discrepancies. Can you people review it before I file it? But for you to sit down and say, oh, they made mistakes, so I will just change this two and put two. And look at the left this I, or I'll dot this I for them. Okay. Let me see any other mistake. That what happened to the framework document. After the lawyers did it, some idiot sat down and went over it to make grammatical corrections. Not knowing that when the lawyers do something, that's legal training. You can't go over it if you don't have that legal training to make English corrections. That's not an English document. That's a damn legal document. And our people have to understand, you distinguish between things. Yes, all of us can write letters, but some letters are called legal letters. Some letters are called social letters. Some letters are called sensitive letters. When they gave those adjectives to those letters, it means something. It means something that ordinary people who are not in our group of thinkers cannot tamper with a document. And that's what Liberian people got to learn. And our educated people, they're immature. They go to school and learn and get all these big degrees, but they don't know that there's a specialization in everything we do. When you give things to a lawyer, you can't sit down and correct it again. You can't sit down and read over it and make corrections over it. That's not showing that you're educated. That's showing that you're stupid. The lawyers did something. Why you want to sit over here and correct it? And this is the same thing with our economic development. We can develop our country, but we got to understand what economic development means. When our people don't understand what things means, it can't help our country. That's the same thing when people talk about waste management. They say, oh, we can do this. No, we can't do that in Liberia. No. The first thing that comes in Liberia is public education. How you start waste management in Liberia to pick up trash and telling the people to pick up trash while educating them. You got to educate them about waste management. First of all, our people don't even know what trash can look like. Liberians don't know what trash can look like. They don't know what the purpose of trash can. There's a difference. You have garbage can. You have recycled, especially in today's world. But when we talk about development in Liberia, we're not talking about like in America right now. We just got to teach our people how to put trash where trash belongs, how to set up trash areas, how to set up trash days, how to remove the trash after a certain time. Everything got ways to do it. Same thing with our economic development. We got to strategize. We got to understand ourselves and our economic viabilities. We have two Liberias. We have one in the diaspora and one in Liberia. And these two Liberias are economically viable. They are economically viable. Look at right now, we got what they were talking about, Lopu's Kitchen. Liberians now making food to sell all over America. Liberians have an economic system we're building in this country. We have an economic system in Liberia. We can be a great nation and people if we know how to form the nexus between these two economic systems, between our law system, between our developmental system. We have two Liberian societies, and we have to know how to form the nexus to connect this society and this society so we can make money. Money got to be our goal. Not bullshit politics. Right now we are a political people. That way we can't go and we can't hold. We fuss among ourselves. Look at Elliot Cummings. Look at Elliot Cummings and Benana Yuri. Two highly educated guys fussing over themselves over bullshit, changing documents to take over the leadership of our community. That's bullshit. When the two can be sitting down with Balkan and structuring how we're going to take our country from where, how this CPP can be a viable leadership where we can circulate the leaders. One person run this town, they take it over. The next, after 2, 3, 6 years, the next person run, we support the next person. Everybody promote their own interests and ideas, but we put the country first. We put the country first. And somebody was talking about political parties for Liberia. Do we need all these multi-parties? Or can Liberia have a collaboration of political parties in which they have one political party with collaborating parties in that one party, or collaborating factor in that one party? Because if we got all these parties, look how we're fussing right now. We got CDC, even CDC, a collaborating party. So we got social collaborating parties. That means we cannot function as a multi-party country. We cannot. So if we have one party with different collaborating interests, it's the same thing. Everything all our country needs is free and fair election. That's all. A free and fair convention. A convention. That's all. To pick a president from the party who becomes the standard bearer. The True Party wasn't a bad idea, but it's just that the structure was bad. Look at Liberia now. We got 8 political parties, and all of them got to collaborate. We got 4 in the CDC, 4 in the CPP, forming 2 major parties. And even in the 2 major parties, there are terrible frictions. There are frictions. So we got to grow our democracy. We got to grow our democracy. And right now, we have a better political connection between our diaspora people and our Liberian people. We have a better political nexus than economic nexus. So when our political nexus is greater than our economic nexus, we cannot achieve nothing in Liberia. We cannot. Economics always kind of supersede political. So right now, let's go over what I said. We have 2 Liberian societies. We have our diaspora Liberian society that is prosperous. We have a prosperous Liberian diaspora society. We just got to organize ourselves. We have a Liberian home society right now that is not as viable, but it's functioning. It's surviving. We have a political connection between our diaspora community and our Liberian community. The politics is good and strong. Look how the people come to America to form political party. We go, yes, but our economic nexus got to be stronger. We got to form an economic base in America among Liberians that will connect in Liberia for us to change our system. The system in Liberia is too dependent on foreigners. It's too dependent on foreigners. We can't grow. We can't haul. The Lebanese, the Chinese, the Indians, all of them want a hand in our economy. And we don't have a hand in our economy. Why? Because Liberia is already taken over by the foreigners. They're already taken over. The only viability we have is in the diaspora. We can build better communities in the economic communities in the diaspora, and Liberians got to be more innovative. We got to get into business in America. And I've been talking this forever. And that is the foundation of EULA. And I've been telling EULA people forever. But Kuni, Wilma Kuni, Wetty, Kessely, they didn't have no vision. All they were thinking about country Congo. That's all they brought to the table. And we can't bring that shit to the table because that country Congo thing don't matter. And I keep telling you, it don't matter. What country and Congo got to do with us relating to each other with money? It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's in our heads that the political aspect that holding us down over the economic aspect. And when we play into that bullshit, we lose. We lose big time. We lose. And I've been telling the people in EULA from the time I've been there, I was telling them, this is an opportunity for us to build big community businesses in America. Our people don't know this system. Our people in this country work their asses off and they don't know this system. We don't have leadership in America. EULA is a joke. The immature children, Kessely, Wetty, all these people, even the people leading EULA now have no vision of what we could do in this country. What Liberian people could do in this country with the money our people make in this country. They have no ideas. And I keep telling them, follow me. Let me show you what we can do with this money. Let me show you how we can restructure EULA. First of all, when I went to EULA, the people, Wetty Wimmer Cooney, who say he's big political analyst, and on one of the only Liberian online show, that dumb Wimmer Cooney talking about he's the chief political analyst. That man was in EULA. Those fools were in EULA fighting with their Congo and Congo bullshit when I was telling them we could make EULA a great economic entity. Just as I told the people in Rhode Island. But they were fighting. We raised $20,000 in Rhode Island. The people wanted to kill each other. Kept me in court for 6 years. Gave me stroke. Gave me all these kind of things. Why won't you look kind of mediocre thinking people for? Huh? Matthew Kai. I was telling Matthew Kai, me and you grew up together. We can make money in this country. Why you fighting me or jealous for? Talking about he owned a Pepper Bird magazine. How you own my newspaper? I can give it to you. You can't do newspaper. Matthew Kai can't do newspaper by himself. Nobody in Rhode Island can do newspaper. I mean, like I'm doing it now. People do it, they stop. I've been doing it for 30 years. That I love it. That's my habit. That's why I can't stop. It's a hobby. That's not a job. I don't do this to live. I do it to teach. It's what I gave back to my people for what they did for me. That's why I can't stop this thing. Whether you like it or not. I went to school to learn, to teach my people. My people are backwards. My people see shit and they think that Shanola. So I gotta teach them that's not shit. You can't touch it. And they say, "Oh, Chesson, wait, who are you?" The white people say that's Shanola. The white, where you know, you got it from LU. The people from America say that's Shanola. So I gotta teach my people. No, you touch that thing, it will go in your hands and you die. So no. The people from America say that Shanola. So I said, what touching it? So when they touch it and be done, I gotta come and save them. So I can't stop it. My people are gullible. I tell them something, they don't believe me. Foreigners come and tell them shit, they believe it. Ellen Johnson come with her mulatto children and talk, they believe Ellen because she's white. The same thing happening in America. We kill our people, we see the white man, but right in Africa, the white man come and tell us something. We don't listen to our leaders. We kill our leaders. Then we say, oh, no, the man ain't like, he's like the white man. All of us do the same shit. That's what we can develop. Look at our law. Say mulatto woman can't be president. We made Ellen Johnson president. She put all the cat-eyed children in our government and did not steal our money. Not drive our country broke. Then after she see that, she see which run behind her, she take our country and give it to a dummy. And now he's a doctor. He's a doctor. And Africa is so fucked up. What made George, we are the 10 top educated people in Africa. We are suffering. Africa has a handicap. Our leaders. Damn it. It's terrible. So this is what we are. We got to weigh our economic nexuses. Can we connect these things? Can we build viable institutions in America that will promote Liberian small businesses? That will teach our people in this country about money, about the need to form a nexus between our abilities in this country to make money and our need in Liberia to have leaders and resources from abroad to help our country develop. We can do it. We can help with our own foreign development. We can be a part of our own foreign development, our diaspora community. We can help. But in order to do that, we have to understand where all of this needs to connect with our society. Okay? So let me get my last topic now so I can get out of here. The Patriot. What I've said in my lesson today is a lesson for people who love Liberia. Every now and then I do a final topic that I call Patriot because this is where I bring everything home and let you know that you got to have a special love for our country. You got to have a special place in your heart for Liberia, for you to understand the importance, to treat everything Liberia with honesty, trustworthiness, truthfulness. If we want change, if we want to question our leaders' honesty, our leaders' honesty, if we want to question their trustworthiness, if we want to move our country from one level to the next level, we got to be patriots. We got to have that special place in our hearts for our country, our people, especially our people. With other people, there is no Liberia. So, this is why, in everything we do for our country, we will look at the need to educate our people, to ensure that before we tell them to do something, we know that they have learned the basics of what we want them to do. And that means educating ourselves, looking in the mirror before we take the coal out of other people's eyes. I've been on for over an hour. But being a patriot is knowing the significance of what our country means to us, what the symbols of our country mean to us, and trying to do those things that will bring better pastures to our country and people. Let me go home now. The time of the Liberian people is now. Aluta! Continue. Have a good day.